Okay. Alright. Oh my god. Oh my god. How many of us are asking when we play Portal 2, right? Is this the way Aperture Science always was? Or was this just a period of Aperture Science when it was in transition? How liminal is the space, right? But that's a big part of it. But can you see, right? Can you see how the Grand Budapest Hotel, right? Think of the Grand Budapest, right? With Wes Anderson, was my personal favorite of theirs. Um, think about the down class that it was occurring as it approached the 70s when we ourselves are being told the story by Zero, right? It was the 80s that we find it in, but it looks gaudy. It looks like green and just green and yellow and vomit carpets with like the it just doesn't look like this amazing periwinkled pink. It just it doesn't have it doesn't look like it's a cake topping anymore. Right? In its prime, the Grand Budapest Hotel looked like a fucking cake topping to the single most expensive wedding cake that has ever been piped. And we find it reduced. And you have to understand, potentially the Grand Budapest Hotel as we are shown it, right, in its most exquisite interpretations. Might be an interpretation, right? Might be a little bit of rose tinting, right? But you gotta understand, it's in that same idea. Now it looks downclassed. Now it's going downhill. It was on point, but it's drifting further and further away from where it was set to be, what it was supposed to become. And it, yes, we'll talk about the metaphor of it. Cave Johnson came out of World War II guns blazing, right? Cave Johnson wanted to push the world forward further than it had ever gone before. He was fucking traumatized. So traumatized, so arrogant about what it is that we were supposed to be doing. We're the chosen ones, motherfucker. We're gonna go out and go for it. And yes, he is there to kind of like portray as an individual the golden generation and a big portion of like the generation that raised our boomers. He's the generation that would have led to hippies. Hippies in the 60s and 70s and it's just but Cave isn't like Walt Disney where he's like the errant youth. No, that's not Cave's particular flavor of like bureaucratic totality. Cave's flavor of bureaucratic totality is he doesn't know what he's after. He he does kind of have his heart in the right place, he thinks, but he has no fucking idea where to put it. He's driving a company forward with all of the resources in the world, potentially. At least in the beginning. Huge plans. Huge. Oh my god, look at the size of this. 9 different chambers of all these giant asbestos dodecahedron looking fucking thing. Like, it's just a, what? And he's getting Olympians and astronauts and famous athletes and just like scientists, NASCAR, like drivers, pilots, war heroes. Like, it's everybody. And he's failing to oversight. He's failing, like right? It's asking so hard whether or not if we could. And we forgot to ask if we should. But this taken to an uncountable infinity, you must understand. The break that Cave Johnson must have made somehow with whatever culmination of powers that were invested into Key, right? Or however he found this power, right? He broke stuff somewhere around the 40s. He found something he wasn't supposed to have. And I think became more aware of it over time. And truly, he found and founded Aperture Science, right? Something that is indelibly connected to Black Mesa. And indelibly connected to the Combine in our story. But I was wagering, like, dichotomization, good versus evil. From what we see from Black Mesa, right? God, the people behind it, were they so bad? No. I mean, they were just workers, right? We were there. Gordon saw it. People just doing stuff as any other day. They weren't doing anything that obviously out of the ordinary. There wasn't even really a bystander effect or anything, right? It was all so compartmentalized. No one at Black Mesa ever could have really known the knowledge of what it was all culminating to become. The Combine. Here in Aperture, I think everybody kind of fucking knew that they must have been dabbling in something that was obscene. Something that was they had stolen fire from the gods. You can't steal it, you gotta ask nicely. They popped in too fast. You see me tracing a line on the rail, I'm just doing it because it helps me meditate. The fact of the matter is that Aperture very aptly looks like hell. Because that's simply the place that Cave left. I was kind of expecting that something would happen were I to loiter for longer than 20 minutes. I'm loitering. What's going to be done about this? Are there any Aperture Science security personnel left? Or did Gladys did she kill everyone? Why wouldn't Doug Ratman want to live down here? Right, is there any trace evidence of him? Why would Doug want to traipse deeper into its depths? I don't know, certainly looks interesting to me, no? Gamma. Well, Alpha, beta, and gamma. Interestingly, this delta, epsilon. Is Zeta a thing? Is C Charlie is what I think. No, it doesn't go. It doesn't go alpha, beta, gamma. It's no, because right, delta. It doesn't go in the same order of our alphabet, does it? How confusing. What does the order of our alphabet mean, anyways? Why is it in the order that it is in? What a perplexing thought. What a perplexing thought. Why is our alphabet in the order that it is in? We think A immediately beginning, Z immediately end, but is there a reasoning to this? No. Why is A in the beginning and why wouldn't Z be in the middle? What puts A in the beginning? LOL! Oh my fucking god, what a fucking insight. Give me a second, that's brilliant. Has anyone ever thought about shit? Oh my fucking god, that's so fucking awesome. Wow. And Render feels the thrill of, unique thought. What did I call it? Wasn't unique. One moment. Holon felt the unfamiliar and dissonant sensation of remote thought coursing through his synapses. Furling his brow at his realization, he gasped. The day Render failed to execute. I ain't kill nobody. Not my mama. I didn't vote for him. Oh, God. You know, right? Alpha. The idea that you would be in the beginning. Omega. The end, right? But God said, I am Alpha and Omega. Not beginning and end. God said, I am Alpha and Omega. Heyo! Alright. Okay. Sorry, I got a whole bunch of glyphs spinning around in my head now. I'm trying to like, yeah, I was trying to like just put a bunch of fucking symbols together, trying to say how Alpha and Omega looks. And I'm like, where have I seen that before? Oh, okay, oh shit, okay. Let me try and. Too much going on. Crispy rice.
Carolyn, why do I know this woman? Did I kill her? Or... Oh my god. Look, you're doing a great job. Can you handle things for yourself for a while? I need to think.
It's just like, it's so nice to hear Gladys mean that genuinely. Like, that's like, isn't that so interesting to be getting her outside of, like, the totality of her true, like, omnipotence and god complex over her own body? It's just, it's really quite lovely. She's not in shock. She's processing. She's not in shock. She's processing. And she's handling it. This is quite a separation of everything, but here it is. GLaDOS can experience herself in a way outside of herself now. She's in a fucking potato battery, and she's here alongside Shell. Somebody who can help her reconnect while she's in this vulnerable state to what made her what she was. Maybe now GLaDOS even would be able to appreciate what it was that she had. Now that she's been popped out of the narrative of whatever the fuck was going on in regards to Aperture Science, she can pull out and see this is a bunch of crazy fucking nonsense. What an asshole. What an asshole. It's not a bunch of crazy nonsense. Thanks. Love that font. Look, that's what they looked like when they initially, right? You gotta look at the details, yo. You gotta look at the details. Look at those details. What kind of car? When do you think that car was from? The 40s and 50s. Well, it even looks like, right? These pump stations were installed then. Yeah, I know. I'm right. I'm right. It's in transition. It's in transition. It's called being continuously retrofitted. It's being retrofitted over time. Some things remain not updated. The gel pressure controls look similar to the rest of it, yes. This means they had plans for gel pressure. All the way back in the 50s. I got goosebumps, I know. Who's stealing fire from the gods now, Mike's? I'm just saying, this is a really, why am I not getting money for my YouTube? Why am I not getting money for, it's like fucking 40 different YouTubes now! It's 333, I got 333 different YouTubes! It's 334 now. That's 400,000 YouTubes I have. I need more coffee. We're doing the French stuff. We're doing the French stuff. Give me a moment. Best believe it's gotta be filtered through duct tape. It's not actually filtered through duct tape, but I do sometimes for it. Ugh. One moment, one moment. Yes. And now this part's gonna be hard because I didn't. Actually, no, I let it dry. Oh, that's right. Yes, you would hear of it. The inner cup. I'm gonna take that whole fucking thing out. Just yank you. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. Put that cup back in here. Alright, click you in. All this to avoid more K-cup purchases? Yeah. I made I made a video where I called Trump, sir. And and it was the Atlantic that put me into what are you looking over there for? You see me? Face tracking off? Uh baby. See me? What are you oh, you looking at Togepi? You wanna see Togepi? You're gonna track on Togepi? Oh, that'd be so great if you did. Either way, Atlantic put me in on an article. Aurora. Oh, Aurora. Okay, Google, all lights candlelight. Where Trump just sat down at his Trump just sat down and listened to music with his audience, and then there was a lot of mentions of Sir. And Atlantic is just like, oh, obvious. Don't know what's going on. It's actually getting a little weird. And I'm like, oh, you bet your ass it is. Oh, you bet your ass it is. Can you, Aurora? What is Aurora? It's hard. Is this not the hand sign?
Start face tracking.
Thank you. I made the hand sign, my love. It's okay. You can increase your
Stop face tracking.
Yeah, you can increase your tracking of that, you cutie. Yes, how's my knuckle doing? Definitely vastly powerful and very, very scary looking. It is very amazing to see the difference between them. But it's not easy. It's not hard. It's just like, my pinky doesn't necessarily, yeah, I mean, like, exactly. If I could force it in, it doesn't hurt to do it. It's just like, there is a little bit, it's harder. But I could do it. It's just like, ugh. Oh, yeah. Alright. Okay, Google, Vaporwave. This is my, in higher definition, this is a K-cup that I made some months ago. To ensure that I was going to be able to intake caffeine while it seemed that my caffeine intake was being purposefully downgraded. And I'm like, hey, that's one of my entheogens. Let me have, hey, that's a plant. Hey, you can't take that away from me, that's nature. No, like, oh, nature wanted you to put it into a plastic cup with some cheesecloth or some similar meshed good. And they wanted you to grind up these random coffee beans that were originally growing all the way over here. And since has been cultivated across the land, right? So that now you can have caffeine from it. That's what it was. It's like, don't get it. It's like, oh. I'm like, bruh. We were smart to do it. And we'll do it again, too. You can't take the caffeine away from the masses. You can't take it away from B. Typical bad baby behavior. Typical bad baby behavior. Oh, no. Yep, you fucked up already. Alright, that goes there. There you go. Scout. Okay, so the other one's better because of what I say. I think. Unless it wants even more water? No way. It couldn't want any more water. I just have to keep hovering over it. I just have to keep hovering over it. You see, when the lights are down, the spiders are pleased. They're like, hello. We lurk in the corners. I just love my spider baby over there. I remember. Thank you. I'm still doing the big one. I'm still doing the big one. I'm peeing now. Interesting. I don't know if it was the coffee machine that was finishing up here. She's been doing a pretty good job with this. Might be a little bit of an overflow from coffee grounds, but they're extra fine. So as long as they drop to the bottom, unfortunately the top of it is kind of, it's not staying clamshelling the way it really oughta. But that's fine. That thing got around like 20 uses out of it. It was not hard to manufacture, and then reused really well. Yeah, I heard like a click or a tap out here. I don't know if that was caught by the camera, but that was or caught by the microphone here. But always pretty cool when it's so apparent and loud. But it could have been the coffee machine. It just sounded like it was in a closer to me direction than that. It sounded notably much closer. It could be confirmation bias on my end of paranormal activity. A ceramic element. Sarah Michael. Sarah Michael Ment. It says ceramic element. No, no, no. Holy shit, it's 3:48 and the pump stations were conceived before the gel. Or the gel and the pump stations were all planned in advance. And we have evidence to support it. Lots of it. We have combining evidence to assert it. We saw that all the enrichment spheres were in fact built in 1952. Before 1952, maybe, even. They're all there. It was already there. He had it built, though. He had it built in a salt mine. Preemptively. Doggies. Let's take a look at what else. Uh-oh. Been a lot of those.